Hi, welcome to today's Vinyasa flow. For today's practice, you are going to want 2 blocks. You might not use both of them, you might use one, you might use neither, but having them nearby will be helpful. As always, a sturdy book or a shoebox will work just fine as well. We'll get started in easy seat. You can start with whichever leg you prefer in front. And then inhale, reach your fingertips towards the sky, lengthening your spine. Exhale, hinge forward. And then allow your hands to fall to the floor. So walking your hands forward just as far as feels good. Keeping your sit bones, your hips reaching towards the mat. Give ourselves a few rounds of breath here. Settling into practice. Inhale, lift out of that shape. Hands can come back to your knees. Then shifting the foot that you have in front, coming to our funky, alternate, awkward, whatever you want to call it, seat. Inhale, reach your fingertips towards the sky. Exhale, right hand to the mat, left arm side stretch overhead. Inhale to center. Exhale, other side. Can work here for a few rounds at your pace of breath. Of course, if it feels good to hang out in one spot a little longer, you're absolutely welcome to stay there. Just listening to what feels good in your body. Wherever you are, completing one more round. Just making sure you even out on both sides. Not rushing the process. You can meet with hands on your knees. Inhale, reach the crown of the head a little taller, lengthening that spine once more. And then take your left hand to the outside of your right knee. Right hand props up behind you for a twist. Gaze drifts over that right shoulder. Inhale, lift the crown of the head a little taller. Exhale, twist a little deeper. Inhale, release back to center. Prepare for the other side. Right hand to the outside of that left knee. Left hand propped up behind you. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, twist a little bit deeper. Gaze over that left shoulder. And then release. Rolling over your shins, over your ankles for tabletop position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Inhale for cow. Drop your belly, lift your gaze. Exhale for cat, round your spine, tuck your chin. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Give yourself a few rounds of breath here. You can bring in any other movement that feels good. Maybe rocking your hips forward and back or side to side. And pausing after your next completed round. So next, cat. From a neutral spine, pull your belly button towards your spine and then lift your right knee off the mat, keeping that knee bent. Option to stay right here or lift left arm reaching in front of you. Then sweep it back to find those toes. Tiger pose, so a little baby back bend here. Foot kicks into hand, hand resists foot, and then release. Other side, lift left leg first. Keep that left knee bent. If you feel good, you can lift the right arm. Sweep it behind you, finding that foot for tiger pose. Again, maybe your hand just stays reaching. If you can grasp that foot, foot kicks into hand, hand resists foot, and release back to the mat. Walk your hands forward about a handprint. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Taking a few moments here, you can pedal out your dog. Hips reach towards the sky, heels reach towards the mat. Inhale, right leg sweeps to the sky. Exhale, step it to the outside of your right foot. Lower down that left knee. Coming into a lizard variation, you can bring that block to the inside of your right foot. You might plant your left hand there. Then bending your back heel towards your glute. Right arm sweeps behind for monkey twist. Hand can find that foot. Once again, maybe you just stay reaching if you can't quite find that foot. Breathing here. Use your next exhale to release, foot to the mat, hand to the mat. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Back to downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep your left leg to the sky. Exhale, step it to the outside of left hand. Lowering that back knee down, lizard variation on this side. Once again, you can use that block, resting your right hand on the block. Reach behind you, bend that back heel towards your glute, finding monkey twist. Might feel some openness across the left shoulder, maybe a little extra stretch in your right quad. Breathe here, and then release. You can set that block back towards the top of your mat, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, downward facing dog once more. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reach to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale your hands forward and up. Exhale, fold all the way through Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, squeeze your shoulder blades. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute, reach tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Start to add on. Inhale, hands forward and up, maybe a little back bend. Exhale, fold all the way through. Plant your hands, step back to plank. Inhale in your plank. Exhale all the way to the floor. Untuck your toes, hands back by hips. Inhale, everything lifts for locust. Squeeze your back body. Exhale, back to the mat. Inhale, press up to plank. Exhale, back to down dog. Give yourself about 5 rounds of breath here. You're welcome to be here in stillness, or you can pedal out those legs. You're always welcome to take a tabletop or a child's pose. So again, listening to what feels best in your body today. If you're not in down dog, making your way there. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift, crown of the head reaches forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reach tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands forward and up, maybe that little back bend, only if it feels good. Exhale, fold all the way through. Plant your hands, step back to plank on the toes or plank on the knees. Inhale here. Exhale all the way to the mat. Untuck your toes, hands by hips. Squeeze your back body for locust. Really active pose here. Exhale, back to the mat. Inhale, press up to plank. Exhale, back to down dog. Once again, 5 rounds of breath here for whatever serves you best. It might be a different shape. Maybe it's a little rest. Maybe you're really active in that down dog. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift, sit bones reach back, crown of the head forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reach tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands forward and up. Exhale, fold all the way through. Plant your hands, step back to your version of plank. Inhale in plank. Exhale for the mat. Untuck your toes, hands stay under shoulders. Lift your heart for cobra, just as high as feels good. Exhale back to the mat. Inhale, press up to your plank. Exhale, hips up and back, down dog. Inhale, reach your right leg to the sky. Exhale, step it between your hands, back foot in and out at 45 degrees for warrior one. Lift fingertips. Pressing into the blade edge of that back foot. If you don't feel stable here, take a bit of a wider base. In fact, my warrior one's almost as wide as my mat typically. Just gives me a little more stability. Then hands come behind low back. Interlace your fingers. Lift your heart. Lift your gaze towards the sky. And then hinge forward for humble warrior. That right shoulder might come inside of that right knee. Breathing here. Arms can extend as far overhead as feels good. One full breath. Then release that grip. Hands to the mat. You might bring those blocks with you at this point to either side of that foot. Straightening your front leg. Finding pyramid pose. Sometimes this is called knee to nose pose. So your nose is pointing towards your knee. Breathing here. You can use the blocks to give you a little more space. Or if you don't need the blocks or would prefer the pose without them, hands can rest on the mat. Breathe here. Then bend into that front knee. Return back to warrior one. Hands plant back to the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. Use your entire inhale. Lift left leg towards the sky. Exhale, step it between your hands. Back foot in and out at 45 degrees. Warrior one on this other side. Once again, take time to set up your base here. Again, you can always take a little wider stance if that feels better. Fingertips lift. Then pull your hands behind low back. Opposite thumb on top this time. Interlace your fingers. Heart and gaze towards the sky. Then hinge forward. Left shoulder might come inside of that left knee. Arms extend overhead. Just as far as this feels good in your shoulders, if it feels good in your shoulders. Breathe here. Hands come back to low back. Release that grip. Then straightening your front leg for pyramid. Once again, try here. Do those blocks feel good on either side of your foot, or do you prefer your hands on the mat? Nose points towards knee. Breathing into wherever you feel that sensation. Bend into that front knee, returning to warrior one once more. Hands to the mat. Step back to downward facing dog once more. Inhale, right leg to the sky. Exhale, step it between your hands for low lunge. So keeping on the ball of that back foot. Left hand plants on mat or a block. Right arm sweeps to the sky, revolved low lunge. So if you need more space for your upper body, bringing in that block. Breathe here. Then stay active in your core and in that twist. Lift to an open revolved crescent. So right arm behind you, left arm reaches forward. Option to stay right here. This is nice and challenging for a twist. Or you can bring your right hand towards your back leg. Left arm reaches overhead. Revolved crescent. Gaze might drift up towards that top hand. Only if that feels good in the neck. Otherwise, gaze can stay neutral. Return to open crescent. Hands come to prayer. Hinge forward. Left elbow outside of right knee. Revolved lunge with prayer hands. Using that left elbow pressing into your knee for a little deeper twist. Pull your shoulders through. Then shift your weight forward. Keep your hips nice and low. Revolved chair. One breath here. Unwinding, finding chair shape. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands. Step your right foot back. Had to double check my sides there. Planting your right hand on the mat or on the block. Left arm sweeps towards the sky, preparing for our other side. Find your base here. Inhale, lift to that open crescent. Left fingertips back, right fingertips forward. Pressing into that back heel. Keep the bend in your front leg. You're welcome to stay right here. Or left hand comes to that back leg. Right arm overhead. Breathe into wherever you feel that sensation. Pretending you can send the breath right there. Return to open crescent. Hands come to heart center. Hinge forward. Right elbow outside of left knee. Again, press that elbow into your knee to help pull your chest through, pull your shoulders a little deeper into the twist. Then shifting weight towards that left foot. Right foot steps up to meet it. Hips stay nice and low. Revolve chair. Untwist here. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift, nice flat back. Exhale, forward fold, release, hang heavy. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reach to the sky. Exhale, hands come to heart center. We'll flow through that once more, a little closer breath to movement. Always easier once we know where we're going. Inhale, reach forward and up. Exhale, fold all the way through. Plant your hands, step your left foot back. Inhale, lift your right arm towards the sky. Revolve, low lunge. Use your next round of breath, lifting into that open crescent. Right fingertips back, left fingertips forward. Right fingertips come to that back leg. Left fingertips reach overhead, revolved crescent. Full round of breath here. Allow yourself to unwind back to that open crescent. Hands come to heart center. Hinge forward. Left elbow outside of that right knee. Pull your shoulders through. Shift your weight forward. Left foot comes to meet right. Revolve chair. Untwist back to that typical chair shape. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands. This time right foot steps back. Left arm sweeps towards the sky. Find your base first. Then lift into open crescent. Left fingertips back, right fingertips forward. Bring that left hand to your back leg. Right arm overhead. Revolved crescent. Gaze can be towards the ceiling or neutral position. Then allow yourself to unwind back to that open crescent. Hands to heart center. Right elbow outside of left knee. Press into that elbow to pull your heart through a little deeper into the twist. Shift your weight forward. Right foot comes to meet left. Revolve chair. Hips nice and low. Untwist. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Exhale, forward fold once more. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Reach to the sky as tall as you've been. Exhale, hands to heart center. Taking your arms wide, reach all the way to the sky. Exhale, fold through. Plant your hands, step back to plank on the toes or plank on the knees, wherever you feel strongest. We'll be here for 3 rounds of breath. Pulling your belly button towards your spine. Squeezing your glutes. Puff up the back of your heart. Exhale, lower your knees. We'll come back to a tabletop position. So once more, we'll briefly come to that tiger pose from the beginning of practice. Right knee lifts off the mat. Left fingertips reach forward. Left arm sweeps behind you. Maybe you find those toes. Breathing into that twist, that back bend. Noticing any difference now that we've gone through some twisting shapes. Gentle release. If you don't notice a difference, that's totally fine. You're still a normal and wonderful human. Lift your left knee off the mat. Reach your right arm forward. Maybe sweep it behind you to find that foot for tiger pose. Once again, just checking in with the body. Noticing any differences side to side. No judgment, just checking in. And then release. Open up your knees wider so they're towards the edges of the mat. Sink your hips back for child's pose. Breathe here. Next round of breath, lifting out of that shape. Can sweep your heels out from under your seat. Legs extend long in front of you. Lift the crown of your head. Hinge forward, seated forward fold. Hands can fall at your shins or your ankles or your toes. However far feels good. Particularly scanning that low back. After we did a lot of twists, it can be helpful just to check in here. Next round of breath, allow yourself to lift out of that shape. Soles of the feet come to the mat. Scoot your hips forward to lower down to your back body. Knees hug into the chest for just a moment here. Then hands can come to the edges of the feet for happy baby. You're always welcome to grab behind the thighs if that helps you access the shape a little bit better. Feels better, doesn't cause any pinching in the hips, take that option. Or some people prefer their hands to grab the heels. So again, finding whatever shape feels best for you. You might play here for a moment with rocking back and forth. You can even try straightening one leg and then the other. Finding the variation that feels best in your body. Inviting any movement or stillness if that feels best. Next round of breath, draw your knees in towards your chest. Lower soles of the feet to the mat. Arms out to a T or cactus shape. Hips shift to the right. Knees fall to the left. Gaze over that right shoulder. 3 rounds of breath for this nice passive twist. We did a lot of active twisting today. So here, just letting gravity do its thing. Next round of breath, you can draw towards center, nice and slow. Then hips shift towards the left, knees fall to the right. Gaze over that left shoulder. Not rushing your breath or that process. Can draw yourself back to center once more. Then hugging knees into chest, arms wrap around your shins. Pull your forehead up to your knees, little yogi hug, tight ball. Exhale, Shavasana. Legs extend long, arms extend. Allow your body to be heavy here. Allow yourself to take up space here. Reminding ourselves that this shape is just as important as any other pose we took today. And I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Body can remain still. If it feels good and it's available to you today, you're absolutely welcome to stay in this place of rest. If it's time to close out your practice, you might start by wiggling your fingers and toes. Maybe roll out your wrists and ankles. A nice good morning stretch, fingertips overhead, toes opposite direction. And give yourself time for coming to a fetal position on whichever side feels best for you. Giving yourself a round of breath there before gently pressing up to a comfortable, easy seat. Taking in these last few moments of practice, giving yourself full permission to feel gratitude and appreciation for yourself. You showed up today, honored your body with movement and with rest. We'll close the collective breath. You can exhale to prepare. Inhale, reach your fingertips towards the sky. Exhale, draw your hands back to heart center. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Thank you for being part of this rad community, and I hope you have a wonderful day.